The first of a new passenger train service connecting Auckland and Hamilton has just left the station in the last half hour. Te Huia will run return services twice a day in a bid to ease traffic between the two cities. Despite being dubbed the renaissance of rail, there's some hesitancy from the public around the travel time. A full journey from Frankton to Hamilton into Auckland CBD takes about 2.5 hours with a transfer at Papakura.
You're parked up at Otahuhu. The first ever service, revenue paying one. Yep. Morning.
I think that's when it's daylight.
I was hoping it'd be daylight and I was going to hook it to the back door so I can get all the trip through the rest of the way.
You're ready to go with your cards?
Yep.
Yeah, because I don't know how much money I've got on my cards.
They don't want me to buy one at the station. They said they're going to give us some free.
Oh, they were selling them here.
Alright. Although I do need to get an AT card.
Yeah. But this is for golden oldies.
Oh, you're lucky.
Oh, yeah, lucky.
There's $5 on that.
That's cool. Your little attachment there, your little gizmo.
Yep. It's one of those ones you use on GoPro.
Oh yeah. That's what I should get. I keep thinking like when I drive, I should like film it and stick clips on YouTube for people in lockdown.
Yeah.
I live out in Te Huia, it's quite scenic whenever I go driving anyway, it's quite pretty. Are you going to film the whole thing?
I was hoping it'd be daylight because they're going to stick to the back door and film the reverse journey.
Oh yeah. Daylight savings, put the kibosh on that then. Might have been alright.
If I do it during the summer, it'll be okay. Because there is a crew member that's been filming them out towards Tauranga, from Tauranga through to Hamilton and Pukekohe to Huntley.
Oh yeah. What will you do with the footage? Is it
YouTube.
Oh yeah, great.
It'll be the 9th posting I've done on this particular thing.
Oh cool. What are you going to do in Auckland for the day?
Film the next one coming into Papakura. I'm going to wait around for go to Pukekohe and film the first one leaving through
Oh,
there,
true. Good point.
get the second one leaving Papakura, and then I'll go home.
Yeah.
Because I live on Waiheke Island.
Isn't that like, do you? Isn't that like at the end of the day though? Like,
Yep.
they're not.
I do a bit of tiki touring around Auckland
Yeah.
on my gold card.
Yeah.
Go free free riding.
You get to Waiheke free, eh?
Yep.
Sweet.
The only thing that brass me off about this service, it leaves Papakura at 6:25.
Yeah.
It released at 6:31 in the afternoon.
Welcome on board Te Huia. Refreshments, food and AT Hop cards are available for purchase from the cafe. Please help us keep our train tidy by using the correct recycling bins. In the event of an emergency, please stay seated and follow the instructions of your train crew. For further information, please refer to the safety notices in the carriage.
Haere mai ki runga o Te Huia. E wātea o te hokokai me te kāri eitiho mai te toakai. Āwhinatia mai koa ta mātau whakatika i te treina ki te whakamahi i ngā ipu para tōtika. Ki te taka mai te hitake o horere, me noho tonu koa ka whangai ki ngā whakamārama a te hunga kaimahi. Ke runga o ngā papapānui o te kāreti, e te hi whakamārama anō.
My name is Charlotte and working alongside me today is Julia. I had to take my glasses off. Can I please have your attention while we go through our safety and rules?
To get the train, you also had to buy a ticket to Helensville AMP show. And they rang me up and said, there's no train running such and such. Okay. You can still do the AMP show. I said, no, you can keep the money. No, it was a donation. Because it's costing them a fortune ringing cell phones every week.
Huge industry. Like, I reckon it'll surpass dairy eventually.
But apparently some parts of New Zealand, we're now growing stuff that normally wouldn't have been grown here.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit more extended. Like, they grow coffee beans up north.
The wasabi is growing here.
Yeah, because the maybe climate change. But there's little pockets of in New Zealand, like there's little pockets of being able to grow stuff. And like I tried to do red kiwi fruit. There's like they're growing the new red kiwi fruit, which you can get for about a year in New Zealand, and it'll just all be exported. Or it'll be really
Bloody rubbish dumped on the side of the road.
But it's like pinky red on the inside. So that's like going to be a huge new thing. But
Slowing down, coming into Pukekohe.
Yes, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's like they
They
license
didn't put their hand up for when it got hit by the blight, did they?
yeah, that was, yeah, I know.
That's why I like it when I watch
So there's a commuter train in front of us.
where they
Old
people get picked up.
ADL.
If you get something in
Diesel
their
powered,
house,
DMU.
right through.
Oh yeah, our biosecurity in New Zealand's terrible. Like the border.
Oh, we could be early.
Terrible.
I mean,
Yeah.
people send people stuff.
7 o'clock, what time were you in?
The Varroa mite was particularly bad. Like I went to at Mac back when the Varroa mite hit.
I was in
Too
the
slow. We just
25.
too slow.
So we're on time. About 20.
And then I think it's really funny that Zespri are telling off the Chinese for like stealing the gold.
Oh, no, that's some 25.
Weird, I know.
Yeah,
like,
really.
what did we call it originally? Chinese gooseberry.
Yeah, probably about 10 minutes
They
early.
lost touch with
Ironic.
it. Yeah, they lost touch with it because they.
And
Well, they're trying to take their
lately there's been a 40k speed limit from Pukekohe to Papakura.
Especially our buddies, my cousins over in Auckland.
15-minute trip was taking 25.
We're just making a brief operational stop here. We'll be on the move very shortly.
People evolve, and so there's.
What, the man's filling up the
I mean, they can
radiator with water.
and there's another one that's free.
Why don't you just say we've got a red light?
Yeah.
And they can use the train in front.
It's all genetics,
The original carrot wasn't red. I like the different varieties
Oh
of
yeah,
carrots.
yeah.
And the taste on it.
Oh my god, I went to I was in down south recently. I went to the Dunedin, the produce market at Dunedin railway station. It is insane the amount of produce they get down here. Like and or even maybe there's not staying, but so much variety. Just makes you think. Where's our variety?
That's the one thing I missed was the markets.
Yeah. Because Hamilton Farmers Markets has got really good. Did you go to that one in Portland?
Yeah, but
It was a bit expensive, eh? It's a bit boutique.
it's not quite the same.
Yeah. It's just like an honest.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's a train. It's a lady and a little pony. Hi, pony.
It's not something she expects to look out for.
She should be able to see the northerner coming south.
Oh, she's advising the horse that look at those people.
All those people all canned up.
Wearing weird masks. They're not aliens.
Tony wants to get off already.
Operational stuff. Oh, this is a good time to go get a coffee, actually, isn't it? Unless it's the latte machine that's blowing the power. The machine tipped us over the edge.
No, it shouldn't do.
Yeah.
If it had blown the power, there'd be no power in the carriage.
Yeah, lights would be off, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
We should all go down. Somebody must be coming up. Is it on at the door? It's indicated. Side of the wall.
7:05, I think it must leave. Seems to be every 20 minutes.
It's a little
55,
one.
35, so I'd imagine we're waiting for an 05. There's a bus and a train. That's saying there's a train leaving Pukekohe at 7:05, and then we'll be behind that one.
The one just before?
Oh, it's useless travel plan. Instead of getting the bus at 7:14.
They need a bloody proper timetable.
Which of course they don't do anymore, which is annoying.
Oh, they do. You know, the
Yeah.
print out ones, you get them for platform.
Yeah, that's right.
Every
But
half
if
an
you
hour,
go
isn't
into
it? Every half an hour? I can't remember
Yeah,
which way
every
it
half
goes.
hour.
Yeah, because when I used to catch the bus to Pukekohe, then I catch the
Yeah.
train to Papakura, then
Yeah.
the train to Rotokauri.
But when they electrify the bloody station here at Pukekohe, they're going to make 2 platforms and God knows what else and get rid of the old station building. Stupid. Oh, we're on the move. Young fella, put your foot down. Some of the mouldy old bloody concrete sleepers, eh? Tonight I'm going to come down here and film the first out of Auckland from here, then go back to Papakura and film the second leaving, and try and edit it all together.
I'll give you a wave. I'll be on the first one out.
Aye. Then I get another 2 trains back to Auckland and a ferry, then a bus, and go find my car. It's still parked there where I've got it. But they're starting to do the works for the electrification line here now too.
Turn off to Pembroke.
Yep.
Okay. I got the damn cup.
Oh, you got a kick cup.
At least I topped up the card.
Here you go, guys. I've got some feedback forms.
Root.
Mementos. I'm going to keep mine as a memento.
So who are you filming for?
Camera setup, TV3.
Ah.
So
If you ever see Lucy Warhurst,
yes, yep.
tell her to have a look at Gay Pride Auckland, the Pride Party, I've filmed her dancing around before she went on air.
It sounds like Lucy.
Yeah. Pirata? This is Pirata?
Yeah.
That's where the,
You were the perfect office worker.
Right, okay.
You start charging an appearance fee. And I feel like there's a lot of people who don't come. Should have been a free beer.
Yeah. 10 minutes. The other one.
Welcome to Papakura. This is the final station on this service. Please remember to take your belongings with you. For passengers travelling further into Auckland, you'll need to transfer to an AT Metro Southern Line service. Please remember to have your ticket with you or tag on using your AT Hop card. Thank you for choosing Te Huia. Enjoy your day.
Haere mai ki Papakura. Ko ia tēnei te teihana whakamutunga o tēnei raina. Kia mau mahara mai kua te hari I o utauta. Koutou ngā pāhihi e haere ana ki akarana. Me whakawhiti ki tētahi raina tereina o AT Metro Southern. Kia mau mahara mai kua te mau ki tō tikiti. Te pātura nei mā tō kāri AT Hop. Tēnā koe tō kōwhiringa o Te Huia. Kia pai mai tō rā.
and in Auckland, they've got the voices different. They've got a male doing the English and a lady doing the Maori part. He sounded better doing the Maori than the bloody woman that does on the AT system.
Probably have to go up the steps, cross the bridge,
No,
down the
this
steps.
stops the same
Oh, it's
place.
coming on the bay platform, isn't it? The original plan was to have us on the island platform.
Going by what I've read, it's supposed to be the bay
But I
platform.
remember somebody saying
But then you'd have to reverse back again to get back on the main
no,
line.
we're right, if we're on the island platform. Which is going to kill the service because you have to go up.
This thing here.
Yeah. So there's a train, we have to go up, over, down, out. A real service killer.
Or get the lift.
Yeah, and we can't change platform because of the barrier system apparently.
Yep.
We have to go up, over, back again.
Yeah. No, you got to go right behind it.
And if you move back that way, I can get the train coming. No, the one that's behind you. That's what I'm after.
Well, the one. Oh, there's that. I've got the yellow line even at Papakura. And the trouble is high business, it's not even on the way down now.
Just your fat body.
You can't have to stand in there, you don't. I think you stand to the side.
That's security guards. They can do what they fucking like. Yeah.
Get a new shirt, it should say train Te Huia.
Well, I couldn't, but they weren't selling, they were selling the hats. Not $15. Well, Hamilton Station. Last couple of weeks ago.
also designed to take 5 carriages. There's only 4 on it right now.
Yeah, well, that can take 6. But when you look at it, 70 on each.
Okay, it's the first day.
Yeah. Remember, a lot of them are rail bands, a lot of them are reporters.
And also school holidays today. Mumsies and some daddies.
Teachers only day.
Whatever.
Yeah, teachers only day. Yeah, that's why there's no kids here this morning. There's no kids catching up.
We'll find out the figures later on. even if they had 100 people on there, they'll pay for it. Up there behind the person with the pink microphone, you get on breakfast show. one has been turned around. Where's the second one? And the second one possibly is in the shed.
My colleague is saying the other that's supposed to do. I can't say anything.
Gotta say it.
You never know, do you? I hate it to happen on the first day, but...
Something with a bit of throb. Something with a bit of throb.
Yeah.
You could be a YouTube star. They had some in Hamilton loaded with 15. The piece on the front needs to be slightly curved like a smile.
Oh, okay. Looks the part, doesn't it?
Yeah. But what I was told this morning, the Hamilton network have got very few barrier gates, and they're scared the driver might end up impaled on the side of a truck or something, or some idiot motorist. It would have been ideal instead of turning around here all the time. SASDs. The only thing which changed is the first two letters.
Yeah. Just tidied them up, eh? Made them
and the numbers are still the original English ones.
Okay.
Because they're all Mark IIs from England.
Great, eh?
And if you have a look at SASD on Wikipedia, you can see the condition of the bloody things arrived in New Zealand. All sent to Hillside and rebuilt.
Yeah, it's a nice job of it.
These ones all done in Woburn and Hutt Valley.
Green light, mate. Off you go.
You don't go home. No trip to Hamilton for me today.
Well, you're trying to force feed a AM unit down there. Hook it into the back of it.
I'm waiting for a phone call when I get back to the yard. Broken dams, can you...
They did a great job doing it up. There's been one complaint when I did a walkthrough at Rotokauri. Oh, the aisles are too narrow. But you put armrests in the care, you lose a foot. I'll make it a bit louder. And there goes the last one for the
Go
night.
back to the yard.
Don't freak out.
Can't wait for more I-dos. RSVP for a front row seat.
I am 100% ready to find the one.
Married at First Sight Australia, streaming Sunday to Wednesday from 1. Watch it first on 3 Now.
Okay, mine Arno. Well, Waikato residents who work or play in Auckland got to enjoy a new option this morning: ditch the car and take the train.
Te Huia's first service between Hamilton and Auckland had 90 commuters on board, plus our own Catherine Rutherford.
Welcome on board Te Huia.
On time and on track, because let's be honest, first impressions count.
Absolutely amazing. Seeing the sunrise.
Auckland traffic is mad, so much rather sit in a train and do some work while on the train than sit in a car and do nothing.
So far so good, I must say, this flash. It's really lovely, but we have to get on the Auckland train after this, so I don't know.
There are luxuries.
The train's fantastic. Coffee needs a bit of work.
And lavatories, the kind of perks not available till now for Waikato locals making that daily car commute to Auckland.
So it's exceeding expectations, and I'll be able to reach work on time.
Around 90 people were on board this morning's first Te Huia service, which left Hamilton for the 98-minute journey to Papakura.
Having a day out in Auckland is quite nice.
It's got capacity for 150. There'll be 2 services up to Papakura each morning and 2 back at night. Return fare around $25. But there's a catch.
You've got to get off and then transfer train, then go by Auckland Metro train to Britomart. And then you've got to have 2 payment cards.
Kiwi Rail predicts if enough people buy in, Te Huia will replace around 73,000 return car trips a year.
If you live in Waikato and work in South Auckland, Te Huia is a great option. You can work on the train, use the free Wi-Fi, the views are great. But who on earth would take on a 3-hour commute?
Samuel Dysart in fact, he'll spend up to 5 hours a day commuting. He moved to Huntly 2 years ago to buy a house, but works at the Devonport Naval Base.
It's a small sacrifice in the long run to have my own home.
He'll transfer at Papakura, wait around 10 minutes for a metro train before catching the ferry to Devonport, then do it all again to get home in the afternoon.
I was spending on average about $150 a week in petrol driving up to Auckland, and about $80 a week if I was driving to Papakura, so to me, in the long run, it works out about the same.
Waikato Regional Council says it's working through a consultation process on whether to extend Te Huia further into Auckland, but only if the business case stacks up. And if it does, Mulu country, look out. You may well find even more Jaffas rolling your way to live. Karen Rutherford, Newshub.
Sunny Witana, it's so nice to meet you. Congratulations on this big morning.
Yeah, thank you, John. Yeah, it's a great occasion, actually. I'm looking forward to driving these.
Tell me about what this means for you as somebody who's been doing this for how many years?
Coming up 40 years now, John, yeah. It's a big occasion, actually. We've had a number of passenger trains in Hamilton before, old rail car and stuff, but having this thing running out, especially for Hamilton, is it's great, actually.
And stopping in Huntly on the way, which I suspect may be meaningful for that little town.
Yeah, Huntly and Rotokauri on the way up as well, and yeah, so it'd be really great, actually, for the wider community, really, yeah.
Do you sense there's a renaissance in rail? You are a man who stood at the front of trains for 40 years, driving them up and down the country. Do you sense that times are changing?
Yeah, I think they are. I think people are realising, especially with climate change, that rail is the way to go. And if you look at the rest of the world, they've all embraced it, so I guess it's up to us now.
Can you tell me about the engine, Sonny? What have you got? What have you got beneath your feet as you're driving this?
I've got a DFB there. It's an old school engine, but it's been redone, and it's really awesome, actually. Yeah, it's great.
Is it exciting? Is this an exciting day?
It's very exciting, yeah. Yeah, I've been working on this project since about September last year, and then with COVID, we had a few setbacks with COVID, and so to have this final rollout date is awesome.
And so when you've been working on, what have you been doing?
Testing the train out and training the onboard staff, well, not so much me training the onboard staff, but I've been training all the locomotive engineers to drive it and stuff, so it's something new for them. There's a few different things on it. Door releases and all that sort of carry on, so yeah, but this day's finally here.
Do you remember the first train you drove as the man in charge? Do you remember what it was?
Oh, it was too many years ago, John, but yeah, it was a bit of a scary moment, actually. Yeah, very scary.
So from scary to exciting and a sense of something good and meaningful and worthwhile beginning.
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah, I think it's certainly well overdue. The population around the Waikato is growing, and it's definitely time for a train.
Well, I really wish you well today. I hope you have a fan. I'm looking forward to being on your train, Sonny. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for that, John.
Kia ora, everyone. We're on Te Huia, the train between Kirikiriroa, Hamilton and Papakura. We are coming live to you on the train. We're about to pull into Huntly, which is exciting. Huntly has a population approaching 9,000. It's been growing in recent years because good, affordable housing there, not far from Auckland. But the drive to Auckland is a bit of a pain in the proverbial in traffic. So they are hoping people will get on in Huntly and catch the train to Papakura. Remember, the big Northern Expressway bypassed Huntly, removing thousands of cars a day from Huntly's economy. Waikato Mayor Alan Sanson is a passenger on the train sitting beside me. Is this good? Is this a good day?
This is a very good day, John. This has been a long time coming and a lot of hard work by a lot of people.
Why is it good? What difference will it make, do you think?
Oh, I think this will give people options around going in and out of Auckland on a daily basis, and also help people to get out of their cars. And it's a lot more pleasant to commute on a train than it is to sit in the frustrating traffic, especially when you get to Drury and you just hit gridlock. So yeah, far better option for people.
It's not the end of the it's not the solution full and final, but there's a sense on this train, and lots of people on this train love trains, there's a sense on this train that it is the beginning of a solution. Yeah. This is still diesel, it's still slow, but it's better than having no train service at all, right?
Yeah, look, I know there's some negatives you point out, but there's more positives than there are negatives. You know, this is a start, and we have to start somewhere. You know, this is about a modal change and actually getting people out of their cars and onto another form of transport. Just sitting here this morning at this lovely chair and desk here on the train, I could imagine just sitting here on your keyboard doing your work, which are billable hours, and that means that it's actually making you money and not costing you money to travel. So yeah, good options here.
Yes, we just did a wander, and we're going to meet some passengers later on the trip, but we just did a wander and people are working on their computers. So there's Wi-Fi on the train, so they are doing that work. What difference will it make to Huntly, do you think? Is this a good thing for Huntly?
Oh yeah, this will make it easier for Huntly. Huntly's already going through a large growth spurt, as is the whole Waikato, including Hamilton. And you know, we are the corridor that links Hamilton to Auckland. So consequently, you look at places like Pocono, Tuakau and that, this is where the growth is happening down into the Waikato. So yeah, this will make a real difference for a lot of people. A lot of people are very, very excited about this.
You mentioned those communities. The train's not stopping there. It is stopping at Huntly, but it's not stopping at some of the other communities. So Tuakau, Pocono, Dekawhata. At some stage, would you like train services to stop there and be very much part of the to and fro between Waikato and Auckland?
Yeah, look, very much so. We are working on them. We're working with Auckland Transport around getting the Auckland Metro service to come down as far as Pocono eventually, and that's our long-term game there. Te Huia will remain a service between Hamilton and Auckland, predominantly dealing with the linkages as far north here as Tikawara, including Huntly and Nguruo here in the future as well. So, you know, this is two strings to a bow here. We've just got to make sure we get it all aligned and make sure that people use it and support it, because if you don't, we'll lose it again. So we don't want to do that.
What sort of patronage do you need? Have you done those numbers? I'm going to talk to Greg Miller, CEO of Kiwi Rail, is going to join us in less than an hour from now. We're going to have a big conversation with Greg about getting rail right in this country. Yeah. But what sort of occupancy do you need for the train to work?
Oh, look, I would think for the regular occupancy for fare box recovery, you're probably looking at, would like to see consistently in the upper 80%. If you have that, that's good. It would be absolutely fantastic if the train was full in Hamilton and we got to Huntly and there was only standing room from there on. Wouldn't that be marvellous? But at the end of the day, I think if we could get around that between 80 to 90%, I'd be pretty happy at that.
We all know, I think everyone watching who, particularly North Islanders, knows the road trip between Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland and Huntly, although we're bypassing Huntly now and I want to talk to you about that. But Sam, our wonderful cameraman, so we're actually passing through really lovely Waikato rural countryside. So we're just going to go just past a lovely farmhouse here, rural roads. It's a really pretty train trip, isn't it?
Oh yeah, look, the other thing about travelling on a train, as you find, you actually see things that you don't normally see off the expressway. So currently the expressway, which is a beautiful piece of road that bypasses Huntly now, But at the end of the day, to sit in a train and look at the countryside as you go by is something quite special. You can relax and enjoy the vista for what it is.
Final question: how has the bypass affected Huntly businesses? Has it been tough in terms of the number of people who used to stop off for a pie or fish and chips or chicken or whatever, or gassing up as they went through town? Has it been tough in terms of the absence of those consumers?
Oh, I would imagine that probably the Shell service station and maybe McDonald's and KFC in Huntly, people that used to stop there regularly, are probably impacted by it. I was speaking to the owner of the Firestone shop in Huntly the other day, and he says he saw a drop off, but he's seen an increase over and above what he had before. So, you know, there's swings and roundabouts. I haven't heard of anybody that's unvertently suffered from the loss of the traffic.
Is Huntly.
Next station is Huntly. That's us. That's you. You're getting off here, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got work at 9 o'clock this morning.
Yeah. Well, it's lovely to have you with us, Miss Hanson. Thanks so much.
No, you're welcome.
You're at a flashing station in Huntly, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're bringing back the original station that's coming back on site in the next 2 to 3 months. So that's something quite special.
Well, we hope it works, and we hope people use it. And thank you for being with us this morning, Miss Hanson. We really appreciate you being on the train.
Well, Papakura hasn't got there yet, I wouldn't have thought, but JC is back with us. We've sorted out our technical issues. Morena.
Morning. Yeah, can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. I've got 2 passengers. I've got 2 fine young passengers who are wagging school. They're not. I just wanted to say that to get them into trouble.
It's a day off today.
It's a school day off. They're these beautiful young Hamiltonians, right? Abdullah and Alian. Alian, you are 7. Abdullah, how old are you?
10.
And Abdullah, how many trains have you been on before in your life?
None.
So this is your first ever train ride?
Yes.
How cool is that? And so you're with Mum and Dad?
Yes.
And what are you up to today?
Rainbow's End. We're going there for like 3 hours or something like that.
So what a great way to spend a holiday day. So you've caught the train, which is really exciting. You're going to Papakura and then you're going across to Rainbow's End.
Yeah. Yes.
And you eat some good food too, I suspect.
Yes.
Eliana, is this your first ever time on a train?
Yes.
And are you enjoying it?
It's weird.
It's different from other forms of transport, isn't it? I like it because you can see the world as it goes by. You're not stressed out because you're not sitting in traffic and you're not driving, although at 7 you probably haven't done much driving anyway. What is the best thing about being on the train? It's a big question, ladies and gentlemen.
You get a cafe.
Yeah, there is a cafe. I've got a coffee because you can take the boy out of Ponsonby, but you just can't take the Ponsonby out of the boy. It's so nice. What school do you go to? Let's do a shout out to your school, Abdullah.
Frankton.
Go Frankton School in Hamilton. So we are on the train to Huia. This is the first morning of this trip. It's very exciting.
Oh, no. Lost him.
Oh, we lost him. But how exciting is it? This is his first train ride. It's awesome.
It's very thoughtful, wasn't he, in his answers?
Yes.
I love it.
We're not on the midnight train to Georgia. We're on the morning train to Papakura. Te Huia is the name of the train. We left Kirikiriroa Hamilton at 6:28. We're due to arrive at Papakura just after 8. Sitting beside me is the CEO of Kiwi Rail, Greg Miller. Greg, it's nice to have you with us. Thank you, Wilson. We're on your train. Thanks for coming and sitting beside us and joining us this morning.
Good morning, John.
I'm a bit confused about this train. On the one hand, it seems exciting, and we need to invest in public transport, and we need to get it right. On the other hand, it's a diesel train, can only go as far as Papakura, and people who want to go into Britomart have to switch. So is this a win, or is it a step towards a win, or is it half a win? What is it?
No, it is a win. It's a big win, actually. It's 5 years worth of big work from a whole collaborative group involving the councils, the government and Kiwi Rail. So it's definitely a win, and it's a chance for us to bridge the commuter challenge, get 73,000 cars a year off the State Highway 1 to Auckland and convert those people to passenger rail. It's a big win.
I was just looking at Ludo Campbell-Reid on Twitter responding to the fact that we're doing the show this morning and saying, you know, this is step at a time stuff. So every win is a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
But we still don't have this stretch of rail. We're just reaching Pukekohe, right? In fact, we're just there now. We still don't have the stretch of rail electrified. So the compelling argument around getting people off the roads is less compelling when the engine's diesel, right?
Well, that's one argument. The other side of it is it's the first step of many. And you know, you may be aware that we're electrifying from Papakura to Pukekohe now. That work will be completed before the CRL opening. That's nearly a $400 million investment in rail just for that section. So electrification is big capital, and you've got to have the patronage to satisfy that. So movement of people between Hamilton and Auckland's a first step.
You used the phrase big capital, and I wonder if what we're experiencing today is catch up after decades, generations of not enough capital going into rail in New Zealand.
Yeah, we've got 4 to 5 generations of capital catch up, so nearly 50 years. And we're in the middle of a renaissance that's as big as when Julius Vogel first invested in rail.
You're joking, is it that big really?
It's that big, it's $4 billion already, on top of the CRL, which is $4.5 billion. So the government's invested significant capital in rail for the future.
Can we talk about trains that operate like this already? And I'm thinking about the Capital Connection, which is Palmerston North to Wellington.
Yep.
And so this is kind of comparable to that. How long has that service been going for?
Well, it's 30 years into it, and it's still well patronised. And I think all those that use it would never want it to lose. So we're part of that program. It's the first rail commuter service that KiwiRail started in 30 years in the region. So it's pretty special stuff.
I'm a bit confused about this train and what it's going to do on Saturday. So the train isn't running this Saturday, it's running the Saturday after that, it's not running the Saturday after that. Why is there irregularity? There's no Sunday services and irregular Saturday services. Why, Greg?
There's a lot going on with Auckland passengers. So right across Easter, our infrastructure workforce had blocks of line right through the Auckland metro area. And when the patronage is down, that's when we do our work. We do it at night, we do it in public holidays and weekends. And it's the best way to do the work. We've got a huge upgrade in Auckland Metro. We've just replaced 134 kilometres of track in 7 months. And all of that stuff happened out of the daytime hours into the nighttime hours and right across the Christmas holidays, Easter break and so on. So that's when we do the hard mahi.
A couple of things I want to talk to you about before we go. One is the electrification. So you talked about, $370 million to electrify from Papakura to Pukekohe, which is very exciting. And it would be so great if you didn't have diesel engines, wouldn't it?
Well, ultimately, it's something that every government will look at, how far the electrification goes, but it's also based on the residential footprint, because it's got to be patrons that use that corridor to electrify that corridor. We're seeing growth in South Auckland and into the Waikato region. That's why this service has started with diesel pre-electric. But ultimately, you've got to look further afield and say what's going to happen, and that's something we're looking at.
The other thing is, of course, as trains come into Auckland, they bump into the Auckland commuter traffic, right?
They do.
And you don't have a line for an express train, do you? No. You could have a line. You could actually, scenario 4 in the business case, says you could do Hamilton to Auckland in 69 minutes if the train had its own line. Simple, low cost of $14 billion, I think, from memory. But are you investing in extra lines so you can get through trains bypassing the Auckland commuter traffic?
So we're putting in a third main from Pukekohe. And what that allows us to do is to run a service northbound, southbound, with 2 lanes heading north in the morning, 2 lanes heading south in the afternoon. So the third main gives us the ability to put freight trains to the side and allow passenger trains to go past them. And that increases capacity exponentially.
So is this the start of something meaningful, Greg Miller?
Oh, absolutely. The third main, the fourth main, electrification, the government's support for new rolling stock like this, great stuff for Te Huia.
Tell me about this engine we're in. It's older than this carriage we're in. It's older than you or I, isn't it?
It's a bit younger than us, John. It's 1970.
Oh, right, okay. So only slightly younger than us.
5 years younger than us. But this car came from the UK. It's on its 4th life. It's been refurbed in the Hut workshops by us. Amazing Kiwi workshop craftsmanship. Like, all of the suspensions changed. It's a better car than it was when it was brand new. And our team in New Zealand did this, created 51 jobs. Fabulous.
Let's talk about other railway lines that you and I remember from our childhoods. I remember you could catch the rail car from Wellington to Hawke's Bay, right? Napier Hastings. There used to be a train line to Tauranga. There was Dunedin Christchurch. Are we going to see ever feasibly the return of more of these kinds of services, those kinds of services?
I think you've got to look at the transport systems to answer that, and that is that there were less buses and it was all trains. Cars were quite expensive and there weren't many of them. Our parents didn't own 3 cars, they had 1. All of those things have changed. Everybody's got 2 cars, there's a lot more bus services travelling, so for rail to compete it's quite a different landscape. Plus there's the independence that people want with their vehicles, and rail doesn't always have that. So trains connected to buses, connected to regional delivery and pickup services. So that's changed a lot. So I think you have to look at the system before we say rail cars will be back. Although the renaissance is happening right around the world for rail investment, and New Zealand's now really involved in that.
And this train, Te Huia, Hamilton to Papakura, is part of it. So who's going to use this train, and what sort of hopes do you have for patronage? Final question. So tell us about the service. Will it work, and if so, why?
Yeah, we're really excited that it will work. The businesses that have migrated into the Waikato, the residential spread, land cost changes, migration of workforces, many reasons, let alone safety and emissions and all the value of rail stuff. We're really excited about it, and I think we just got to watch and promote and see it grow over time.
Greg Miller, thanks for joining us this morning. Thanks for having us on your train. Thanks for getting up at 3:30 in the morning to be with us.
Thank you.